Well, hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we've come down to the Manitou roadshow here at Attleborough in Norfolk, and if you could do something positive today and give this video a thumbs up, it would be much appreciated. Thank you to Manitou and to TNS for letting us come down here today and film some cool content on these wonderful machines. So we're just walking around. This is the smallest Manitou they make, and it's a 420, and it's quite interesting for me to see today what it looks like in person, because this is a real small little machine. And I can see how it would be quite handy in small sheds or on a smaller farm if you're perhaps a smallholder or something like that. The cab is quite spacious. It's the same cab as on the 625. For such a small machine, it feels like a bigger telehandler. It's really, really nice, quite comfortable. We've got the JSM joystick, which is the same as what you get on the larger models. And it's so it's a 420, 4 metre reach, 2-ton lift. Not a bad little machine for whizzing around the yard. You know, if you were a poultry farmer, if you were a small equine business, something like this would be fantastic. It's now an ag spec, so it's an MLT. If you look on the boom, that's now a cast tombstone boom to add extra strength to the boom. And what a beefy little machine it is. You know, you could get this down narrow passageways. You're going to be able to get this little machine everywhere. And it's also got a Kubota engine in it, which is a good, reliable engine. So if you have a look next door, going from that small Manitou, this baby, this is, I guess you could say, something slightly larger to what we've got at home at Olly's farm. We've got the 630, which is a 6 metre 3-ton lift, whereas this is a 635 140 V+. So this is a Vario, 140 horsepower, Deutz engine, slightly wider than my Manitou at home. Same cab as my little 630. We haven't come here today to look at changing the 630, but we are interested in what's going on with the telehandlers, with Manitou. So it's always nice to just have a look at what's what's changed and how they're coming along. So this is the new Manitou capacitive joystick, and when you put your hand on the joystick, it recognises that you are in the cab, that you're there. When we bought our Manitou, we missed the 2 buttons, which was previously one way you could activate the joystick, and on our Manitou it hasn't. It's just when you get in the machine, it's just like an old Manitou basically. You just get in and the joystick works. But on this one, it's for health and safety, so it recognises that there's a human there. And I think that's a really good idea, because I didn't want to use the previous joystick with the buttons, but I think this is a much better solution, and I think the Manitou's done a good job of that. The visibility is fantastic. It's the same cab as our current one, and this is a 635, so it's got a 3.5-ton lift. So I'm getting another 500 kilogram lift on this. It's wider, so it would be a little bit more stable than my current 630. But then with the 630, I can get around all of the small sheds. So you're never going to win whichever way you go. You know, if I went for a 635 or a 630, they've both got their pros and cons. It just depends on what your application is. For us, with the small sheds, the 630 is really good because we can get around our yard. But with a 635, it would be interesting to see if we could still be as manoeuvrable. So I guess that's something you have to try out when you purchase a machine. You have to see if it fits around your yard. So we've just gone from, this is the 635, a little bit wider than the 630, larger lift capacity, to the 737. This is a good bread and butter telehandler for Manitou. They sell a lot of the 737s because you've got a 7 metre reach, a 3.7-ton lift. They are power shift, which means they're good for towing on the road, and they're probably one of the most popular models. The reason why we haven't got the 737 is because probably around our yard we just need the smaller 6 metre machine. So a little bit of a different view to what I'm used to. You've got the 7 metre boom. As I tried on the 741 a while ago, they are nice, very nicely built machines, and that extra lift capacity would be fantastic for when you've got the man cage out, when you're putting someone up a tree, when you're loading lorries. To have a little bit extra reach is always a handy feature. We do get by with our 630, so it does the job, but this is a lovely machine. So this is the 630, it's the current model we've got, and Manitou has increased the horsepower on it. It's now got 15% more horsepower. So this is 115, on ours it's 105, so we've only got about 105 horsepower with ours. You get a little bit more on the new one, but it's still largely similar to our current model. This one's fitted though with LED lights, as I was eyeing up, which looks quite nice. That would be handy if I was, you know, when I'm doing my muck spreading, the LED lights at night with the boom would be quite nice just to see into the spreader, but for now I just use the normal lights on the cab, and that does the job for me. But that is a really nice feature, seeing the LED lights on there. So maybe when we change, that's something I definitely want to have, is some LEDs. And the cab is largely the same Although one thing I was worried about on the 630 was that they were going to have the buttons on the joystick, and now they've got the capacitive joystick. So when you get in, it recognises your hand, which I'm really happy about. So I'm really looking forward to maybe one day in the future changing to an upgraded 630, or maybe even something a little bit wider like the 635. But it is nice having a look nonetheless. One thing I've noticed on our current one, the window will go down to about here, but on the new model, window goes all the way down. So that's a nice touch. I'm really happy Manitou's done that. I'm in a toy shop today. We're having so much fun. We've looked at the 420, the 635, 737, the 630. What are we now? We're at a 741 now. And this is something I tried. We did demo a 741, just a little bit too big for our yards for what we needed. A really nice machine though, nonetheless. You've got 4.1 ton lift capacity, 7 metre reach. This particular one is a Vario, same as our 630. The Varios are lovely, and you've got more horsepower. So, you know, if you were a larger arable farmer and you needed something with a high lift capacity, step-less transmission around a yard, I would definitely look at a 741. Moving along from the 741, this is a new Manitou which I haven't seen before in the flesh. This is an 841, so it's got an 8 metre reach, 4.1 ton lift. It's got the larger cab, and this is if you have a look here, Platinum edition. So it's got automatic greasing. How nice would that be, not having to grease the telehandler? What a world we live in, eh? So just having a look in the cab, it's a much bigger cab than the smaller models. Wow, this is nice. You've got so much room behind you. If you had to put like a backpack, you could put so much stuff there. Like, it's like almost as big as a tractor cab. That's quite impressive. And when you're sitting in this thing, it's quite a bit bigger than the 630. I think this might be one of my new favourite Manitous. And it's also got a 200 litres per minute hydraulic pump, which is crazy. And it's got the PowerShift Plus transmission, so if you were pulling a trailer with this, it would be fantastic because it's got the torque, whereas with the Vario, sometimes you might not be able to get as much torque when you pull in trailers. I mean, at home, I really like the Vario on the 630 because it's going around the yard, it's just really convenient for us because we spend a lot of time around the yard. Maybe one day we would look at a PowerShift if we were doing more towing, but hey, this is a real good machine for everything. I think for a large-scale arable farmer or a contractor doing muck spreading or something like that, this is one to look at. This is absolutely mega. And just have a look at the boom down at the front. If you look at how reinforced it is, this is all cast steel, so it's extra strength for 4.1 metre lift and that 8 metre reach. So I've never driven, she's quite a beast, I've never driven a 200 litres per minute hydraulics before. This will be quite interesting. Oh wow. Wow, she's a beauty. I'm in love. Wow. The hydraulics are so responsive, it's unbelievable. Yeah, this is probably one of my favourite telehandlers at the moment. They're so quick, the hydraulics. It's unbelievable. The only thing is that I haven't got a need for a 4.1 ton lift at the moment, but one day in the future, this is up there. You've got to have something to work towards. And I think an 841 is probably my favourite telehandler at the moment. This is unbelievable. You'd have to try it in the field to see what it was like, but this is pretty mega. So we've got a Yanmar engine in this. It's 145 horsepower, and I just want to have a look at it. I've got the key. Just the size of this telehandler, it's just awesome. I just absolutely love the 841 now. I'm trying to I've been talking to Manitou today about how I could justify an 841. You know, go from a 630 to an 841. Oh wow, that is a smart engine bay. Look at that. Yanmar engine, made in Japan, very reliable engines. That's nice. Everything is just where you'd want it actually. I'm surprised for a machine with all the latest emissions technology. Everything's still at hand, like engine dipstick, filters, reversible fan on the radiator. One thing I found with the 630 at home is I never hardly blow my radiator out because the Manitou does it all the time. On our 630, so with the automatic reversing fan. Yeah, this is really nice. This is very nice. Everything's at to hand. You've even got here, look, like the small details, the camera, so in the cab you can keep an eye on the bonnet and making sure you're not hitting the wall. And the lights over the previous models, if you have a look at those LEDs, they've really come a long way, and this is absolutely fantastic, this machine. I want one. Dear Santa. That automatic greasing as well, so you won't have to grease your boom. Get under there, and in the winter in the wet, that would just be an absolute luxury to have. But fantastic. Tow hitch as well. Look at the cast weight on there for the 4.1 ton lift and the 8 metre reach. This is absolutely fantastic, this machine. I'd love to try one of these, by the way. Manitou, I'd love to try one. So this is a Manitou we wanted to see in the flesh. It's the limited edition Newag model with a gunmetal grey paintwork, the leather stitched steering wheel and seat, and a full LED package. So this is quite a lovely machine, and for some lucky people out there, they've been able to order these and get them on their farm. So I mean, that must just be absolutely fantastic to have a limited edition one. Maybe have a look in there and have a look at that. So there was 133 of these made, these Newag ones, and what a piece of machinery it is. Unfortunately, we couldn't get a limited edition model because we used a smaller 630. But what a fantastic time it's been, just coming down here this afternoon and having a look at what's on offer. It's always nice to look at some of the new equipment, and who knows, maybe one day we'll be able to upgrade and change our Manitou for something a bit newer when the time comes. But for now, our 630 does the job and we're very happy with it. And keep liking, keep subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.